So what we're going to do is we thought that it would be a good idea for us to kind of give a little backstory into like why we're doing this, and also like some not buy-in, but like some cred, some street cred of like
street cred,
why we're doing what we're doing.
This is, for me, this is really diving into my first experience with whiskey and with bourbon and what it means to share bourbon with friends.
Yeah. And for me,
I wish I had a more solid way to end
that's
that.
great.
Yeah.
That's great. And for me, this the second episode is a little background, extensive background a little bit into like how I got started in comedy, why I decided to do stand-up comedy and all that. So we thought it would be good to share that with you guys. Yeah.
In 2 separate sections.
Right.
Welcome to Whiskey Bits,
with Matt and Phil,
where we talk all things whiskey.
and all things comedy.
How are you?
I'm good. We just watched some funny videos. That was funny.
Got us prepared.
It really did. It's good to be inspired.
It is. It's funny.
Yeah.
Speaking of inspiration,
This is gonna be a fun one.
yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. So, not to be weird, but speaking of inspiration, I for this pour, I've decided to go with one of the first ever bourbons that I was able to pour and drink neat.
Oh, okay.
All right. So when I first got into bourbon, it was a lot of old fashions. I would maybe try it on the rocks or add a little water to it or whatever. But I never could really appreciate it neat because it was just too strong.
Neat meaning for maybe
No ice,
somebody that doesn't know.
No water,
Just
a straight pour.
why do they call it neat?
Of because there's nothing in it.
'Cause
but
like, hey, it's
whiskey.
neat.
It's just what it's called. So,
Okay.
So yeah, I could never really get into it. I could never really taste anything besides like just this overwhelming like sense of just burning my mouth, and
It's burning.
it was
I
burning.
feel a burning sensation.
But I was over at my buddy Rico's house, and he said, "Hey, I've got one I'd like us to try," and he's like, "Let's give it a try neat because it's pretty good." So poured it in, had a couple of smells like we do, had a sip, and was like, I can't believe I can finish this thing neat. So was really excited about that, and I think since then haven't really looked back because I can now I could sense that I could taste the different flavors, I could pick up the notes, and it was like almost overnight my palate changed. But this Jefferson's Reserved, and I'll never forget that he said it says very old and very small, so it must be very good. Anytime you put two berries,
That's a lot of berries.
it must be really good. So not only did I try this for the first time at his house, neat, but this was also a gift from him. So
that's nice.
I look at this bottle fondly, and I'm excited to share this pour with you.
Thank you, Phil.
Of course,
I'm honored. And is this the bottle?
This is not the bottle that we
The exact
shared.
one. Okay, yeah.
This is the one that he gifted to me.
So this is the one he gifted to you.
He gifted to me.
So you haven't really. How long ago was that?
That was about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago. It's been a while.
So you've had this for a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've it's one that I use special occasions.
Sparingly.
I do. I want to hang on to it because
I'm a special occasion.
it means a lot to me.
Well, it's more about you than it is.
And really, it's sharing it with you, but it's also sharing it with everybody else.
That's awesome.
So let's take a
Better be
whiff.
freaking good, Phil. You built it up to be.
Oh man, I mean, I like my palate's changed a lot since that time.
If I'm like, oh, this sucks.
Well, I was gonna say like my palate's changed. Like I wonder if I'd take this and like, that's terrible. Why would I ever want this?
No,
but I just after I poured it, I took a smell before we went live.
Yeah, and you
Live,
you
and
like almost fainted.
It was
You were like a Disney princess that just got kissed by the prince.
Not sure what that means. A lot of good flavor in that one. So again, Jefferson's Reserve. This one comes from Lexington, Kentucky.
Did you taste it?
I didn't say Lexington, did I?
I don't even know.
Okay, Louisville is what I meant to say.
You did say Lexington.
Ugh. We can cut Lexington.
I'll cut it. Where does it come from?
This one comes from Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh, nice.
Jefferson's Reserve.
Okay.
So cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah. Now I remember why.
I don't know why I have this word to describe it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not in a negative way.
Okay.
But quiet.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm with you.
What does that even mean?
No, I think that's right. What I take from that is exactly what I felt the first time I had it, which was there isn't so much like ethanol and like heaviness to this that I'm like overwhelmed and feel like I've got to do something to this to be able to get it down.
But it has a very sweet aftertaste.
Mm-hmm.
Like on the very back end of the tongue.
Yeah.
Like just kind of like almost like this round.
Yes.
People are like, these people are full of BS. But
no,
I'm totally honest.
There's
like,
a front and the back.
Yeah,
I agree.
The back side of the tongue, it feels more, I'm getting more sweet notes.
Yeah.
It's not overpowering as far as the ethanol is concerned. It's not... Yeah, I don't know. I guess quiet was the only thing I could...
No, I like it. I like that description.
Get a little fruity smell, a little bit.
Yeah. I get some like good baking spices out of this one.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
you catch like some nutmeg.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Almost like a cake.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Madison's been making tons of sourdough bread.
Uh-huh.
Now, granted, it's gluten-free. It's amazing. It's amazing.
It's good. It's
really
some of the
good.
best sourdough bread I've had.
Oh, it's so
bar
good.
none.
Yeah. I've eaten so much bread. I don't even know why I'm not like 500 pounds right now.
Oh,
but this has... I don't want to say it's a bready thing, but kind of like when you said that something with baked good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm totally getting that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeast and some of those other things. There's probably some wheat in there. Certainly some corn.
Very good.
Yeah. Yeah. It's what I remember.
It's really funny that you say that because the other word that just popped in my head is nostalgic. And maybe it's because we've tried so many different ones that it's kind of reminding me of something that I've had before, but at the same time, I've wanted to try the Jeffersons. I don't think we've really tried it because the other one that I've seen that I'm always like, ooh, is the single barrel, right? Single barrel, very old, very small.
Okay. Yeah.
Is that true? Is that right?
I mean, I'm sure there is one. I haven't seen it, but yeah.
I think I've seen that once. I think it's single barrel. But yeah, but this brand, and again, you look at it and like it's very 1776 United States, right? Like you have the whatever the building is there.
That's probably the Jefferson Monument now.
So yeah, why Jefferson's Reserve? Why is it called that?
You know, I really don't know much about the history of the Jeffersons. I know it's a small it is a small distillery. It's a craft distillery kind of. Even though it has a lot of offering to it. So the reserve probably does come in a single barrel. But this one is a very small batch. So that's where the very old, very small batch comes into. Yeah. They have a lot of different expressions. I've seen their Jefferson's.
The Ocean one.
Yep, they've got Jefferson Ocean, aged at sea. They've got one aged at sea in the tropics. They've got some different ones that are, kind of interesting and different voyages, they call them.
I wonder if like the seawater, if they have it open enough to where seawater could spritz onto the barrel and if it would ever soak in some of that salt water or something.
Yeah, I think the humidity, the temperature. Yeah. They say that the sloshing around within the barrel as it moves across the sea and ebbs and flows, it might be something to it. It could be just
hogwash,
totally hogwash, like you say.
It's a marketing ploy.
It could be a marketing ploy. I think I've had I've tried a couple of them, and some of them have been good, but I wouldn't say that any of them have been like, wow, I need to buy some more of these. I think what's fun about it is they do it. It has a little bit of a story, a little bit of a history. None of it's ever going to be the same. Right. You can read the voyages on the card. You can tell, it experienced a lot of, storms at sea.
There was a shark attack.
There was, we stopped at port here because of a weather emergency. Like it has all of the history that ship went through. Right. But I don't know if it makes good whiskey or not. Right. And that's not really the point. The point is.
But this one is just So Kentucky
Solid.
straight bourbon whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
That means what?
Well, so in order for it to be called bourbon, it has to be made in America.
Got it.
Common misconception. I don't know if we've talked about this here, but a common misconception is that bourbon has to come from Kentucky.
Oh,
That's not true. It has to come from the U.S. We can talk a little bit about why Kentucky is considered one of the places where bourbon comes from,
or something.
And
Right?
it has everything to do with the water. Yeah, and really the filtration of the water, because there's a heavy amount of limestone in Kentucky, specifically Louisville, through Lexington, through that entire Bourbon County,
Right.
where the name comes from. So,
Okay.
All right, so comes from America, can come from anywhere in America. This one specifies that it comes from Kentucky.
51% corn.
It has to be at least 51% corn. What else? You remember what else?
New oak barrels.
New oak barrel.
Right?
Yep.
Does it have to be American oak?
It has to be, wow, great question. Maybe?
I don't remember if it has to.
I think it has to be oak.
I know it has to be new oak. I don't know.
New oak.
If it's
New oak. Typically, it's going to be locally sourced, and
Right.
it's another complexity to the whole thing. Is if you think about the soil content that goes into the tree,
Yeah.
all of that stuff matters in the taste of the whiskey, right? Because
if this would be considered American oak.
I'm sure it would be.
Who knows?
I'm sure it would.
I mean,
be.
this came from this was what we thought probably they had a stout in here.
Yeah.
But where it came from before, I don't know.
Don't know. But yeah, so that's it. There's
Okay.
no age restrictions. So
Do we know how old this one is?
let me see if there is a statement of age on this barrel
There's
or on
literally
this,
nothing.
this bottle.
It is
There is-
the logo.
Literally nothing. It does say that according to the Surgeon General, no, I won't read that whole thing. No statement on age. We do get that it's a 90.2 proof.
Okay.
For this reserve, for this small batch. Does give us a batch number 356 and a bottle number 9857, but no age statement on this one.
I wonder if you could look up batch number 356. If they have, that would be interesting.
Yeah, if they have that
a-
information available.
Yeah, where you could look it up and say, oh yeah, this one was done.
They might.
This, or I'm sure you could call them.
It might be able to.
We should call a distillery sometime in the middle of the show.
Really, that would be
interesting.
Kinda fun, just to have them talk about something that
Like,
we're
hey,
about to
we're
drink.
tasting this right now. You're live on a podcast.
Hey, can you tell us what we're having? I like that idea.
They'd be like,
Yeah, that's really good. I tell this story because the idea here that it goes into a new oak barrel, and it doesn't have to stay there for any particular amount of time to be called bourbon. Pabst Blue Ribbon. You're familiar with the PBR, the beer up in Wisconsin. They came out with a whiskey and they called it bourbon. And the reason they were able to is because they put it in new oak barrels. It's 51% corn at least. It's made in America, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. They aged it for 7 seconds. Literally poured it through the barrel. They can call it bourbon.
I just saw something in the store that was aged for 10 minutes. And I was like, what?
Maybe that's what. Maybe it is.
Maybe that's what it was. Because I was like, you're not going to get anything.
No, because it's clear.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it was a clear thing.
Yeah, I encourage you to try it. It's actually, it wasn't the worst thing. I thought for sure this would be the worst thing I've ever had. It wasn't. It was just the best.
ethanol.
But it was pretty much
Wow.
aged in
For 7 seconds.
American charred oak barrels.
What do you do if you accidentally age it for 8 seconds? You're like, we gotta throw it out.
Yeah, get rid of this. It's
Or we
no
gotta
good.
get new labels.
You know what?
We need
Turn it
8-second
into beer.
labels. Turn it into beer. We need 8-second labels. We're gonna need a couple 9-second. And Johnny fell asleep, so we need 4.5-minute labels.
if you can find them.
If you can find them. It's a lot of labels.
Yep.
My
Yep.
goodness.
Very old, very small.
Very good.
Very good. Must be very good if it has that many berries in the bottle.
Yeah.
Is what my friend said. So, cheers
Awesome,
to him.
dude.
Cheers
Yeah,
to
cheers.
You. This was
What's his name?
It's good. It's my friend Rico. One of my oldest friends. I've known
Rico
him
Suave.
I've known him for a very long time.
Rico Schmeeville.
Not sure.
No.
What we
You've
would
known
call
him for a very long time, you said?
very long time.
Is he very old?
2007. Is he very old?
Your friendship's
He is not
very old.
very old.
Oh, good.
I would not call
Good
him
for
very
him.
old.
I mean, you could live longer if you're not very old.
Yeah. He's a little older than me, but not by much. And according to your wife, I'm much older.
You're ancient.
I'm much older than you guys.
Why is that? Do you think she thought that? Because you're taller and you have gray in your beard?
No, I think that she just realizes that I'm in my 40s.
I'm getting close, man.
And you guys aren't?
I'll be 39 this year.
Yeah.
I love getting older, though.
Yeah.
Apparently, I love losing my hair and getting older, and
It's all really good.
but I'm aging like a fine wine.
Like a fine wine.
I said the opposite in one of the prior episodes. Well,
Aging like a disgusting wine that's no good.
No, just
that went bad. Is that what you're
no,
saying?
I've always felt fine about aging. I think it's because when I was little, I always wanted to. I was always like ready to grow up. You know, like I want to be older. So that's why I encourage my kids, don't try to grow up so fast. Just enjoy being a kid.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But move out.
But this isn't. No, I'm like, I will live with you.
But get out of here as
Like,
soon as
give
possible.
me like, can I have a room in your house someday? I'm gonna be devastated when my kids leave. Oh man.
Wow.
Well, thanks for sharing this story.
That's a concern.
Yeah, no. Oh gosh, so depressing. No, but like, thanks for sharing the story about this, because it's always interesting, like how you got started in doing this. You know, why. And I guess that's my to wrap it up, like this section, like what is that what got you started into whiskey? That relationship.
I think that, I think it was, that relationship certainly was a big part of it. So I got into whiskey when it was in 2020. So it was right in the midst of the pandemic. I was starting to dabble in it even before that.
But is that when your collection started?
The collection started, yeah,
Good
in
Lord.
in 2020. Or
So
just
that bar
after.
was empty.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put a picture up that you're gonna send me, and it's up
Yeah.
now. There it is. See, this
Yep.
is your bar. It's insane,
Yeah.
but that's only from 2020. 4 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say that all of it has turned over. There's not a single bottle on there that was on there when we started, because it's probably drank it.
Well, you just dove right in.
But yeah, I dove right in. I think there were a couple of factors. First of all, I had maybe one of my favorite old fashions of all time was at this restaurant in St. Paul, Minnesota. I was with some work colleagues, and I was like, wow, that's really good. So I asked about it, and it was this blend that they had put together in their basement, the restaurant's basement, where they had just blended a bunch of different whiskeys, brought them together, and
That's what that's becoming.
Exactly.
What do they call that? They call that something.
That's we would typically call that like an infinity bottle.
Yeah.
Infinity bottles tend to be like when you have that little bit left that
Yeah,
you just want to, you just pour it in there.
It could be horrible or it could be amazing.
It could be amazing, or it could be
whatever.
But either way, it's something.
So were they doing that? They were making their own infinity.
So no, they were doing this on purpose to make a specific flavor for their old fashions. And so it was so good that I was like, I need to learn how to make this.
Right.
And so I started looking into what makes a good old fashioned, and I bought a bottle of Bullet Rye and some other things that you could find easily at the liquor store, and that was kind of it. I sort of did that occasionally, once in a while. Didn't do a whole lot of it. I want to say it was probably like 2019 or so. Started really looking into, trying whiskey. Like, I had tried Scotch, and it was the worst experience of my life.
Dude, I had I'll probably touch on this later, but I was running a comedy club at a restaurant, and this guy bought me it was like $100 glass of Scotch.
Yeah.
That was my first Scotch ever. I don't really remember thinking, oh, this is amazing, but that was like my first.
Yeah. I remember drinking it and thinking, I guess that tasted okay. And it was, Macallan's 12 or 15 or 18.
Yeah,
something ridiculous.
That actually
right?
sounds familiar.
Yeah, and then I remember the next morning, like, still being able to taste it in my mouth and thinking like,
It's like a cigar. You're like,
that just wasn't that good. Like,
Right,
oh,
yeah.
that wasn't that good. And so I just like, whiskey's just not for me.
mm-hmm.
But then it got into bourbon.
Yeah.
And so one of my other friends, Jovan, who passed away in 2020, we started talking a little bit more about whiskey and kind of getting into some of that stuff. And he's actually the one who told me about Eagle Rare.
Was he into it?
Yeah. So
Okay.
he was into that for sure. And he told me, you got to try this. And if you knew Jovan, it was always, you got to try this. You got to do something, right?
Yeah.
You got to try this. And so we ended up trying it once, and he had a bottle at home. He's like, you're going to love it. I did. And that sort of like kicked off like starting to look into some other things, but it wasn't a thing yet for me. Until unfortunately after he passed away, and watched a documentary on bourbon whiskey called Neat.
Okay.
And
you told me about that. I need to watch that.
Yeah,
What am I doing?
y'all need to watch it. It's fantastic. You'll hear a lot of stuff on this podcast that kind of is inspired by that, and where I kind of reference some of the things learned there. But that's really, as I was watching that and kind of hearing some of the stories told there, and it sort of reminded me like, this is a fun little thing that we can do, but it's also really cool to be able to share that with other people and with other friends.
Yeah.
And so I shared that also with my buddy Rico, and he was sharing it with his friends, and we were talking about it, kind of regularly, and it turned into a thing where we would find a bottle and we would open it up and try it together. We would share it with one another. We would do some other things. So from that standpoint, but when we first started, it was all just trying to find those ones that we really liked.
It's the camaraderie or community aspect of it too.
Yeah, definitely. And
That's cool.
and one of our other friends, who we hope to have on a future episode, by the name of Dwayne. He has turned into quite the hunter of
like
bourbon.
The Godfather. You need a little bit of something. You need this.
I get you.
I'll get it for you.
Yeah, I got a guy.
I got a guy.
He's my guy.
He's your guy.
He's my guy too.
You're my guy, and you have a guy. So I have a guy that's got a guy.
But I gotta tell you, what you've started doing.
What have I done?
I've got a guy.
I've started.
You're the guy. You're becoming a guy.
I'm becoming the guy.
Yeah.
I'm the guy.
You're one of the guys.
I'm one of the guys.
But yeah, so it has turned into a thing between the three of us, and I think beyond. And
That's cool.
It's just been a lot of fun. So when he pulled me in and said, "Hey, you got to try this one," it was really good. I really liked it, and I think I don't know that it was the first one that he tried that he said he could put down neat.
Right.
But it was definitely one of the first ones for me. He agreed. So so it was fun. From there, it's just been an open, like, that's pretty much the only way I drink whiskey.
Yeah.
Occasionally I'll throw it into a cocktail.
But yeah, this is same. Like, this has become, like, if I'm going upstairs, watch a movie or something, the kids are down. Oh, thank the Lord. Mellow corn.
Yeah, mellow corn.
Or whatever. I mean, really, any
whatever,
of them.
right.
Like I'm going to bust open probably Eagle Rare eventually.
Yeah.
We haven't even touched the Weller.
We haven't touched the Weller Special Reserve. We've got some work
to do, man.
There's only so many episodes that we can record at once and stay sober
And stay awake.
and stay awake.
No, this is good.
Yeah,
Thanks
we
for
tried
sharing
that.
that, man. That was awesome.
Of course, dude. Of course. How did you get into comedy, joke writing, stand up, all that stuff?
It's kind of a long story, Phil.
Yeah?
I don't know if people care. No.
I care.
You care.
And that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
It's just you and me.
It's just me and you, man.
Tone out the cameras.
Just don't. They're not even here.
Not even here.
They're not even here.
Do you want some more?
They're not here.
Do you want some more?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll take a little bit. I'll do this. So I think I've mentioned this before. Yeah, I mentioned it in the Madigan episode, where my stepmom was the one. So I was a baseball player, grew up playing baseball. That was like, my dad was a baseball player. I don't know if my grandpa was. He was in the war, so I don't think he had time for baseball. But dad was a baseball player, pitcher. I was a baseball player, pitcher. Brother was, sister was. Mm-hmm. So that was me up until 8th grade. I don't know. It's just my stepmom, when, she came into the picture when I was in 3rd grade. I was still playing baseball, I guess. But yeah, she just, I don't know, somehow she found this thing called Christian Youth Theater and local theater company. And she brought me to the show, Godspell, like I said, where I met at Madigan. And there was something about, the production of it that was just really interesting to me. And I thought, oh man, I would love to do this. And I think as a kid, my stepdad was the one that had a camera. And so I would use that and make like I always say, ever since I could hold a camera, I was making little movies and stuff. So I was already kind of like acting and stuff, but just not having an outlet besides my own things. Making movies as a kid and all that stuff as an escape, I think, from the parents' divorce, all that kind of stuff. So fast forward, or flash forward, whatever you want to do.
We do whatever we want.
Yeah, I mean, flash whoever you want to flash is what I say. This is 2024.
I like flash forward.
Flash forward. Let's TM. Fast forward.
Are you making notes for yourself for later?
TM.
Yeah.
Copyright that.
Note to self.
Yeah, so 8th grade, I finished baseball. Actually had like my greatest year in baseball. I set a record in the Carpentersville Little League. Ooh, it's my claim to fame. 15 strikeouts and a no-hitter.
Wow.
Bam.
Look at you.
Yeah.
The next Nolan Ryan.
Oh my gosh, yes. And loved it. It was fun. But saw the theater thing. I was like, I would love to do this. So I was, signed up, did Christian Youth Theater. And so through high school, that was like my community, was the theater group. I ended up meeting some guys that had an improv troupe. And so I did stage combat. I did improv. I did acting. I did all blah, 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 blah. All sorts of things.
Played the bass.
Played the bass in Mexico on a missions trip. All sorts of things. Yeah, all sorts of, we were before YouTube was a thing. I always say like we just missed it because my high school buddies, like we were filming stupid stuff all the time.
Yeah,
stuff that would have been on a Vine or on a reel or whatever the heck, and there was no place to put it except for watching it ourselves. So we were our own YouTube, and that was it, and we enjoyed it, and yay. So it's just interesting to think I was a couple of years behind, like what could have happened had we been maybe 2 years younger.
Yeah,
because we would have been right at that age of YouTube starting and whatever. But anyways, so always doing something with acting, and it wasn't until college. Took a year off after high school, went to college at a place called Judson. It was Judson College, now it's Judson University. So Judson University in Elgin, Illinois. And there was an open mic it was my freshman year in the men's dorm. There was an open mic, and it was a small space, maybe like, I don't know, 30 by 30, not a big space, maybe even 30 by 20.
Yeah.
And they were doing an open mic. I was like, okay, cool. I had been, in high school, we were introduced to Dane Cook, and Adam Sandler was a big influence. Jerry Seinfeld, obviously. Bill Cosby was my first comedy show that I saw. My dad took me to, it's the Allstate Arena now, but it used to be called the Rosemont Horizon. Yeah. So we went and saw Bill Cosby there. And then in college, we saw Brian Regan. And so I don't know what really got me, other than just exposure to other comics, but I was like, I'm going to do a stand-up comedy set. I'm going to do 10 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever it was for the open mic. And so I went up in my dorm room and I invited 3 of my friends, and I said, hey guys, I wrote a 5-minute or something set. I want to practice, literally the show's at, I'm going to name a time. I don't remember the time, but the show's at 7. It's 6:30. I'm going to do my 5 minutes for you. like zero idea of how to plan for something. And I did
Classic college student.
Classic college, classic me in college.
Last minute.
And they were on my couch, and there was 3 of them, literally like as close as I am to you right now, but I would be standing.
Okay.
And I did my 5-minute set or whatever it was. No laughs at all. Just staring at me, and I kept going, and they were just looking at me like this. No laughs the entire time. I was like, I'm going on in like 10 minutes. This is gonna be horrible. And
I can't imagine.
I was like, oh, and it was just, I don't even know like where I came up with the jokes. I must have written it like just super quick or whatever, because it was my goose joke that I have that I do today.
Okay.
You're talking, this is 2004.
Wow.
This is 20 years ago.
Yeah, seriously.
My goose joke. I had a shopping joke.
Okay.
My model joke. So these are all like my original couple jokes. I actually have the original clip of this is on YouTube.
Really?
I might play a little clip here. We'll see if I can find it. But so I was like, oh no, this is gonna suck. Like I'm gonna do horrible. So I went down into the lobby where they were doing the open mic. It was packed. I mean, like, you know, it's a college. It's open mic. People are gonna come. So, and it's the boys' dorm, the freshman boys' dorm. So of course people are gonna be there.
Yeah.
And it was packed. There was probably 100 people packed into this tiny place.
Yep.
And it was my turn to go up. And I went up, and I freaking killed.
Nice.
And I was like, and it was dangerous because I was like, oh, this is some good attention. Like,
Yeah.
I really liked it. And yeah, and like, so I think through college, that art form, I just was like, yes, I like this. Because I like acting. I've done like little independent film or short film things. I like that. But the difference between like stage or comedy versus film is obviously the production is different. But with comedy and stage acting, theater acting, you get immediate feedback from the audience.
Right.
And I tend to naturally, because again, grew up doing Christian youth theater, I kind of had developed that ability to respond, even in a scripted show, to respond and kind of change my performance based, good or bad, based on an audience response. And so stand-up was kind of like a perfect fit for that. Versus film, which is like, you get feedback, but it's not until you premiere the film that you get the feedback. And then it's like 500 times greater.
Yeah.
But it's not immediate. And so the performance is different. And you're like, what is this? Or is this going to be good? I don't know. Whereas on stand-up, it's like, I can adjust as I'm going. So there was something about the art form that I really liked. And it was very close to the theater thing. And I was already kind of doing that. And I think it's like, I took a year off after high school. And so my theater stuff ended when I was like 19. So I think it was like 19 or 20. There was like probably a good gap where I hadn't done any shows. And I think I was hungry for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's when I got started, and I did it all through college. I did it probably for about 2 years after college, so about 5 or 6 years, and I just had to take a break.
Yeah.
And so I had done, at this point, obviously college, I was, dating, but single, dating, whatever. Married 2008, right after college to Madison, and so it was just the two of us. So I was doing, all the comedy clubs in Chicago, all over the suburbs. I even flew out to New York and did Eastville Comedy Club for like a showcase. I didn't really understand what it was. I thought, they picked me to go do it. I'm like, it was just a showcase. It would be like going to Zanies and doing a show. I just paid to go to New York, which was amazing.
So a showcase, to somebody who doesn't know much about the scene,
right?
A showcase sounds like it would be, wow, this is great.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
So are there different levels, for a showcase feature? I know I've heard you talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So like, there's open mics, which is just anybody can sign up. Typically now, they used to be different. Now they're like 1 million people, and you get 3 minutes, which is just ridiculous. Because I'm like, this is too many people, and it's not enough time. It's fine if you want to work on one joke, but for me, I'm like, I it's just not my scene. Showcase is more like there's 6 comics typically, 6 or 7, maybe 8. I don't know. It just depends on the place.
Okay.
And you do 5 to 8 minutes maybe.
Okay.
If there's 6 comics, you do 10 minutes. It's a 60-minute show.
Yeah.
That's great.
Sounds right.
And maybe you have a host that goes in between.
Okay.
So it was called the Eastville Comedy Club. It's kind of down by NYU, which I was obsessed with Friends. I still am, but the show Friends. And so I was like, oh, this is like where they were shooting and all that. So I went there. I flew to New York, did the touristy thing, stayed in a hostel, but did all the touristy stuff. But Eastville Comedy Club, I was like, I had signed up for something and they said, yeah, come on. So like, all right, cool. Like, I'm going to go to New York and I'm going to perform. I'm from Chicago, suburbs. New York is very different.
Very different, yeah.
Very different. Like, and so I went in and it was a showcase of, I don't know, 6 comics, something like that. And filled club. It was really cool. But I get there and they say, hey, we have a guest that's here. Actually, 2 of them. One's going to go before you and one's going to go after you. So here I am, the clean comic from Chicago in New York. And who's going before me? Robert Kelly.
Okay.
Who tours with Dane Cook.
Uh-huh.
And at the time, it was Dane Cook's Tourgasm tour. Okay. So, super famous guy.
Yeah.
After me, following up, is Rachel Feinstein, who was the winner of Last Comic Standing, I think the first season.
Yep.
So I'm like, what? And like, I was so intimidating. And like, so I have a clean act. I always tell this story. I mean, I remember Robert Kelly. I kind of had a bad taste in my mouth from him, but I guess everybody says he's super cool, super nice. I would love to actually get in a room with him and like experience him as a person, because I just remember like him being on stage and one of his jokes or whatever it was, he was just like, F you to God. And I was like, oh wow, this is intense.
This got real.
Like, and I'm gonna follow this up with my clean comedy from Chicago. And I just remember like he was like kind of picking on these 2 younger girls to the right of the stage, and they were mortified. And so I went up and I did my clean shtick and I got sprinkled laughs and stuff. But the 2 girls that were like, I would say innocent or whatever, were to my right cracking up.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I know I'm doing well for me. I'm like, this is my gauge here.
Yeah.
This is my level of like what's going well.
Yeah.
And actually somebody from the hostel I had told them about it and they came and all that stuff. But anyway, so I got off the stage and I'm like, I don't even know how that went. Like, I didn't feel like it went super well. And I was talking to one of the comics. Like, I said hi to Rachel Feinstein. I was like, oh, she's like, good job. And I think even Robert Kelly was like, yeah, good job. And I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know how it went. And one of the comics was like, dude, he's like, you did great. He's like, if you don't get booed off the stage in New York, you did a good job. It's like, oh, wow,
that's incredible.
Yeah.
All right, so what
I don't know. It was
what year was this? We're talking 2010.
Yeah, I think 20.
Something like that? Okay.
Yeah. I think 2010 actually is probably pretty accurate. 2010, 2011, somewhere in there. And
so that had to feel good.
It was awesome. I mean, then I just enjoyed New York. I did the pizza. I did New York. I did Central Park. I went to the Museum of whatever it is, the Natural History Museum.
Museum of the
just
whatever.
Any museum.
And then I saw the thing with the people.
I did NBC. I got on the Today Show.
Did you get on the Today Show?
Yeah, I stood outside. I stood outside. I went early, like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning, and I was I was on the fence.
Okay.
And it was right where they were going to be filming. And then I just gave up because I'm like, this is taking forever. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go get a New York bagel. So I went, the fence is here, the New York bagel building right there. Okay. The glass is right in the background. So I'm in there eating my bagel, and sure enough, it was Savannah Guthrie and what's his face at the time?
Yeah.
Whoever got canceled.
Matt?
Yeah, Matt Lauer.
Yeah.
They were right in front of me, and and I remember DVRing it, and at one point I paused it and took a picture, and the 2 heads split. and you can see me in the background with my striped shirt eating a bagel.
Just
Just blurred me. I'm like, that's me.
I'm pretty sure that was me.
No, it definitely was me, and I was like, I would have been exactly on it, but yeah. So I did all the touristy stuff, but
cream cheese all over your face.
Yeah, it was. But yeah, I think that was good. And I ended up doing a show downtown, and I did like a whole thing for like Haiti, because it was around when all that stuff with Haiti happened.
Yeah,
and yeah, but then I took like 10 years off.
Mm-hmm.
So I had some stuff I was working on for myself, and I just was like, I just need to take a break from this. Then we ended up having kids. We had 3 kids, and it wasn't until and I think a lot of it was like I wanted to be famous, or because I did Zanies a lot. And I remember one guy, Bert Haas, was the guy that was running Zanies, and I really liked him. He was so strict. And he was like, if you show up 5 minutes late, if you show up 1 minute late, you're out, like to a showcase. I got there like an hour and a half early. And I was
worked.
Yeah, and I was sitting up there in the green room watching Doctor Who with whoever worked at the club at the time, because I did not want to be late.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so I had done all that kind of stuff, but I need a break. And but it wasn't until I was painting, we were refinishing our attic for the kids. And I was like upstairs painting or something, and I was like, I haven't done a show or anything in a long time. I mean, 10 years.
Yeah.
I had been writing. I've written jokes since I stopped, probably 2011, 2012. I still had been, as I would experience things, I would write jokes, and put them in my phone, and they would sit there for, whatever. I don't know. And then, yeah, once I was doing it, I was like, I felt like it was almost like I got to a better place spiritually, where God was like, I'm going to bring this back to your mind and kind of like open this door for you again. I was like, I kind of want to do this again. I wasn't looking for it. It just kind of happened. And literally, like, I had made a call to one of the local theaters here, and I was like, hey, I should mention this. So
please tell me you're telling the Raw story.
The what?
The Raw Center story. Keep it going.
No. So Jovan.
Oh, yeah.
So Jovan.
This is great.
That you had talked about. And this is kind of an interesting connection with us. Like a full circle kind of thing. Jovan had hired me for his wife's, Stephanie, her birthday.
Yeah.
And said, hey, can you do, like 20 minutes or whatever, half-hour stand-up comedy? I'm like, sure. I haven't done it in forever, but sure, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it paid me like $600. I remember feeling really bad because I did end up doing like 25 minutes or something. It was supposed to be 30. And like, anyways, but then he passed away, and I was just like, but that was like, you're talking like a 8-year gap at that point. And so that was the last time I had done stand-up. And then a couple of years later, obviously, but it was actually like a year later. That place I did it was Stage Left Cafe in Woodstock, Illinois. The guy, his name's Dan, he had just taken over as like the manager.
Okay.
He said, hey, we want to do a comedy club here someday. Let me get your information. I'm like, cool, yeah, sure. Well, flash forward a year later, I'm painting in the attic, and I go, I want to do stand-up again. I wonder if the Woodstock Opera House is still wanting to do comedy. Call him up. Hey, Matt. It's good to hear from you. It's so funny because yesterday I just got off the phone with the Comedy Zone, and we're starting a comedy show monthly here, and they said I need to find a host. Would you be interested? I came in that next day. He signed me up to be the host. So that got me locked into a once a month for sure thing, where I was doing 8 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. We're usually around 8. Yeah. Introducing and getting to work with like mid-grade, bigger comics. Yeah. Well-known people that are out there, and
really funny people.
Yes, and like, so I just
really funny and kind of out there grinding and doing a lot of the stuff that you're now trying to do, but like at least like rubbing elbows with these folks.
Tammy Pescatelli, Andy Woodhall, Miles Weber, so many people, Kevin Bozeman, just a lot of people. And so then I was like, okay, here's my thing. If I'm going to do comedy, I'm going from a spiritual aspect. I did not want to, if I'm going to do it, it has to be God's will or nothing.
Yeah.
Like, or at least I need to include the Lord in it, and I don't want to do this on my own. And so I said, it's not about trying to be famous. It's not about trying to have an agenda other than I feel like I have these skills and talents and desires that have been put in me, and I feel like I'm wasting them if I don't do something with them.
Sure.
And so I'm just going to say, hey, I'm going to make this choice. I'm going to push it towards comedy. And I set goals, but I didn't try to steer the ship. So one of my goals was I want to get a dry bar special. And I was like way out there.
Yeah.
Like just a way out there goal. Like, hey, maybe in 10 years or 5 years or something.
Yeah.
And so I called up a buddy of mine who worked with Angel Studios and was like, hey, do you happen to know who books dry bar? Yeah, here you go. I was like, oh, okay, that was easy. He gave me his email.
Yeah.
So I said, hey, so-and-so, I just want to know, like, what do you guys look for somebody doing stand-up? Here's my story, blah, blah, blah. Would love to do dry bar someday, like, and so I get this email back. This is like 2 or 3 months after I started up again.
Yeah.
Hey, here's some dates. Send me some stuff. Send me some of your videos. And here's some dates. What do you think you could do? I'm like, what? I was like, okay.
That's it's awesome. I don't want to jump in.
No, please do.
And take
like
too much of the spotlight here. And it's really not that. It's we had connected on this maybe like a month and a half before this, and that's when you like approached somebody else and said, hey,
we talked about Jared.
Would you mind helping me write some of this stuff? And I'm standing there looking like oh, that's awesome, that'd be great. And then the guy says no, and it's like, hey, I'll do it. I'm interested in doing that. That would be kind of fun. And I had no idea where it would lead to or anything, but I remember learning like I've known what dry bar is for a while. I mean, you see them on YouTube and Facebook and all over, and there's some really, really hilarious, like, I mean, Josh Blue is maybe one of the
he was one of the guys I used to listen to all the time.
Yeah,
like,
but Josh Sneed is another guy that's just hysterical on there, and I know I've watched a bunch of different specials, and so when you said, hey, I'm trying to get a dry bar, I'm like, oh, that's adventurous. And I don't know if we had necessarily gotten together too much at that point, but I think it was maybe a couple days later. It was you said in such a nonchalant way, like, hey, we should probably start working on this because I got this dry bar special. And I'm like, you did like, what?
I didn't. I was like,
you got what?
Yeah.
And I remember this moment. Like, I don't know why I inserted myself, but like it was one of those like almost like a God thing where we're like, well, yeah, this is what's going to happen. I was like, that's awesome. What are the dates? I'll come out with you.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, cool. Yeah, that's awesome. And I remember telling my wife, like, yeah, we're going to go do this. And her being, are you sure he wants you to go with? And I was like, no, but I mean, I said I'm going to. And he was like, yeah, that's cool. He's like, yeah. She's like, you're not intrusive? And I was like, I don't think so. I think he would tell me. And I was like, but maybe I should ask. And it was like, but it was never a doubt. Like, it was almost one of those things that like, it was just like sort of unspoken. And I remember those were some really amazing, moments in our relationship and in our time together and connections. And
yeah, it melded us together. I think,
and kind of writing friendship for some of that stuff. So anyways, I hate to jump in there, but that was like a really, really awesome, cool moment for to see that happen as quickly as it did.
I mean, it's just God. Like, all the glory to Jesus.
Yeah.
Like, I can't. And I think for me, my role in that was I'm going to invite the Lord in, and I'm not going to try to write this story. I'm going to participate, and I'm going to do the work for sure. Like, we have to do the work, but I'm not trying to make the sun rise or make the sun set.
Right.
And so I just felt that I felt I wasn't being a good steward of my talents and abilities. And, and I feel like that's, to kind of wrap it up. I mean, I did end up getting the Dry Bar special. We shot it in May of 2023 and we're still waiting for it to come out. But it's fine. Like, again, all of that is like, all of this process of doing what we're doing and the stand-up shows that I do and the opportunities I get, I don't feel the pressure to like, I got to be performing every night. Because to me, I'm like just, what is it, 2 weeks ago, I was hanging out backstage with Fortune Feimster.
Right.
Or Feimster. God can put me where the heck he wants.
Yeah.
And so I don't feel like I need to try to control it. I need to do the work.
Yeah.
But he's going to make it happen. And so, because I've invited him into that, and he's sovereign and he's going to make it happen. So anyways, all that to say, like, this journey that I'm on doing the stand-up stuff and doing the podcast and all this stuff is just me trying to be a good steward of the talents God's given me and letting God open the doors.
Yeah.
I just had the show this last weekend because I did a show with Miles Weber and he liked me and he told the booking agent and they said, "Hey, you want to do another one?" I'm like, yeah. It's going to be this much. Sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll pay for your hotel. Awesome. So,
and you just got booked for another one with him too.
And I got booked for another one with another guy. And so, it's just...
well, and I think the other... I mean, that's all a really cool story. I think the other stuff that we're starting to see is the stuff that Jamie invited you to when he was in town to go downtown and go downtown to Zanies and then do, open forum at... I mean, it's really neat to see as you've kind of moved from wanting this to be about you and be famous, and I'm sure the stuff on the stage is like it's addictive. Right?
So fun,
It's addictive. It's fun. It's hey, how can we make this like bigger and better and all that stuff. But the minute you kind of laid that down, then like real opportunities started opening up. And so it's really, the big opportunities. Really awesome.
The big opportunities I've had. I've done some little things in like putting myself out there, but not to the extent of like trying to make something happen. Like, I put it in Jamie's ear as a kind of as a joke when he first hired me to do his website. Hey, like, oh yeah, I'll do your website, but when you come to town, like, let me open for you. Ha ha ha. But then he actually offered that, and so him remembering that and just that and even that happening, like it kind of wasn't going to work out. And then he just was like, "Hey man, can you give me a ride?" And hey, do you want to do 5 minutes? And sure. And then, hey, do you want to do another 5 minutes? Yeah. And so it's just like people, like he also had to make that decision to do that. And so his generosity to do that, God working through those people and blessing me and just so that, again, all of this is so that like we can bring him glory. And so so it's just kind of cool. I mean, I have no idea where this is going to go, but I don't have an agenda other than just, hey, like, I'm going to do this and God's will be done. And like, if this turns into something great, if not, like, it's going to do something for the future. We just don't know, regardless of what our agenda might be.
And it may just be a fun hobby.
It could just be us just hanging out drinking. We're going to do it anyways.
We do it anyways.
Might as well film it.
Might as well see what happens.
Yeah, dude.
No, I love it. Thank you for sharing, man. That's,
dude.
It's
I took longer than you did.
It's
I can blab.
It's really good. It's a longer story. I mean, my story only goes back to 2019. Yours goes all the way back to
the Stone Age.
Yeah, to the Sticks, maybe.
I knew you from the Sticks, right?
This is what in the comedy world, this is what we call a callback.
Yeah.
And
call back to a previous episode.
Call back to a previous episode with the Sticks. But no, anyway, this was awesome. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure getting to know you through all of this stuff.
And you're in my Dry Bar special. Don't forget.
I'm honored.
Oh,
honestly,
I can't wait.
Honored.
I'm wondering if they're going to use the thumbnail.
Ooh, they should.
I hope so.
They should. Well, this is great. Thanks for sharing, Matt.
Yeah.
Really appreciate
Thanks,
you.
dude.
Yeah, fun times. Cheers, my friend.
Cheers.
Till next time.
Yes.
All right.
Oh, I gotta drink it. Next time on Whiskey Bits. Can I just say something? I feel like eventually we're going to need to get some diversity because we all look the same. Literally.
Well, I mean, you look significantly different.
Well, now because I cut my hair.
We used to look more alike.
Yeah.
All of us, all the same. We could be brothers.
You and I, there's a relationship prior to this recording, by the way, where I know him. So,
Wait,
I know
define
both
relationship.
Of these people. It's like,
I was going to say,
I generally know him, but people have said that you and I were separated at birth.
Really?
Probably.
I'm like,
I'd be talking to my parents.
I'm like, I talked to my mom, and she's very adamant that no.
yeah, I talked to my parents as well, and you've never come up.
Yeah. No. Well,
Maybe they don't
because
know.
I've never come up, but like,
Maybe they don't know.
Yeah.
maybe they don't know.
Just say it.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to Whiskey Bits. Please like, share, and subscribe wherever you watch or listen to podcasts.